Hey guys, welcome back for another brand new episode of the Truth, God, and Justice Chick podcast, or Controversies with the Truth, God, and Justice Chick. My name is Saskia Chick, as always, and I welcome you guys back on here for some talk, as always, honest talk about some troubling topics of all sorts, really. And today's episode is inspired by pretty much what I had posted last night on my Instagram page for those who follow me on Instagram. So today's very spontaneous episode, because I'm honest, I don't plan my episodes. When I think of a topic, I jump on and record. I don't rehearse. I don't, just as a little side note, I always like to give my little side notes so you know what you're dealing with or what you can expect, So today's episode is about the border crisis. Last night I shared some pretty troubling, usually always troubling regarding this topic, footage, drone footage and regular camera footage of pretty much, Mexican migrants who tried to illegally come through, which was really, it's nothing new. It's been happening, but of course now the gates are pretty much open to a degree, and there's no law and order. There's nothing, of that sort, and it's pretty troubling. They come in by the thousands or hundreds, thousands probably, and it's just, all we ask for, and this is coming from a legal immigrant, right? So this might be where people are like, what? You're not from this country. You were not born and raised here. Why are you opening your mouth about that stuff, about that topic? Well, because I went to the back of the line and I filed my paperwork, or with the help of my husband, and we paid our fees. We did did USCIS stuff, which is a pain in the butt, to say the least, but we did it. So, that's all one can ask for, right? Because they do the background checks. They check everything so to make sure that you are not a criminal who enters this country, and that you are not a child sex trafficker or a murderer, or, that has a purpose. Why? So, you always hear these, that's so heartless, or why are you so cold about it? They want to escape their horrible life. Okay, well, everything has a law and an order in a way, You can't just jump the fence and be, and expect to be greeted with open arms. We don't know who the heck you are. For all we know, you could be a sex trafficker, or you could, come in with a kilo of cocaine, or, of something of that sort. I mean, come on. And it's troubling to know that there's no one really in charge these days. Call him whatever you want. One thing he ain't is competent or really strong. I don't even know the word. One thing Joey is definitely not is tough. You'd have to be able to build sentences first. Anyway, yeah, so we don't know who's coming in. And it's just so troubling. And, Joey trying to sell off portions of the border wall that really worked great. It's troubling. I mean, I guess the only thing I can't even say that, because they even come to the north. They get shipped by buses and whatever other vehicles, or ships or whatever, they get shipped even up here to New England, where we thought, at least we're somewhat safe up here, but they come in by the hundreds. And it's one thing, I don't want to sound too harsh or too cold in a way, because I understand if you're trying to flee, but you still need to, come here the right way. There's not many circumstances that would give you an excuse to, go around the rules. So, yeah, that's my opinion in a nutshell about this topic. And that's coming from a legal former immigrant. I mean, I'm an American citizen as of June 2022, so a little late. I could have been 1 year ago, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, that's, it's horrific seeing all that footage, and, it's on the news all the time. And I think, was it yesterday morning or no, 2 mornings ago, they came in through Texas, pretty much the creeks or swamps or ponds or whatever they were. They had footage of tons of Mexicans coming through, and of course other countries too, through what was it, Eagle? Was it a town or city called Eagle Pass or something Eagle in Texas? And being down there would be where I have a sister-in-law living in Texas. I mean, that would be, not the safest place to be if they are indeed criminals coming through. It's one thing if a mother, with a baby who's truly innocent, and I mean, she'd still have to go through legal work and all that, but that's one thing. It's another thing when we're talking about, the cartels and traffickers. So yeah, that's my opinion in a nutshell. I'm not gonna be talking much about all the the laws and all that stuff, from a more political perspective, because I'm not up to date on that information. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I'm not inclined to discuss real policies and stuff. I'm not, you're not on here to get the laws read to you. I'm no expert on that field. I'm just giving you my opinion, and the way I see it from a perspective, from the perspective of a person who had to come in the right way through USCIS, US Customs. That was an ordeal. I mean, that's not for the faint of hearts. I'm going to give them that. It's very expensive. It's very tedious. A lot of patience, a lot of affidavits, a lot of paperwork. I mean, you really have to love this country to go through that. You really have to, in my heart, for me, I came here, I always knew I would end up in America. I always knew I would move here, because I knew from the age of, 5, I want to say, around that time, maybe a little older. I always knew I was really American, by heart. I was always, I always knew, I like to call myself, not myself, but I like to say about myself, I was born in the wrong country compared to, another topic, born in the wrong body. I certainly am not too much German. I'll always remain my half German or whatever, but I wouldn't consider myself a typical German. maybe in some ways when it comes to structure and, being punctual and responsible and all that, but not so much when it comes to maybe other topics. Anyway, so yeah, that was my quick little opinion. I'm trying to see, did I forget some points? I mean, it's just, I just wanted to quickly address this horrific scene. Praise those, officers working pretty much the front line of the borders, and, it's just horrific. I just can't believe it. I can't believe that you would take that down, after starting your office. Talking about Joey right now. Why would you destroy something that worked so well? Oh yeah, I forgot, because that's not your narrative. It's not your agenda to keep America safe. Talk about purposely destroying the country, right? I mean, what else would it be? If you take something down that works just so you can, it's almost childish. You'd be like, haha, like, I take that away, what you build, or I destroy what you build, the tower you build, or whatever you build. That, to me, it's horrific. But of course, I get it from, not really, but I somewhat, I can see it from their perspective, the, typical Democrats' perspective, as in, which I used to be, by the way. I used to be one, because if you grow up in Germany, as a side note, if you grow up in Germany, you kind of are just almost not without a choice, but like there is really no, and I'm not saying I'm an independent, I would say. I'm not, there are lots of bad Republicans too, but I'm just saying, like, pretty much every, I don't want to say every German person, but every German resident, or I don't want to say every single person where I come from is a Democrat, but we don't really have we have Republican parties type, like, but we don't really, I don't know any people, I don't know any people personally who are Republican minded in my home country. Anyway, so from their perspective, it's, of course, you just think with your heart, you want to give people access of coming in, which is just too dangerous these days. It's just simply too dangerous. You can't do that. That's playing with fire. And that's my 2 cents about this ugly topic. And, well, if you have anything to add, feel free to leave me some comments, whether they're good, positive, or whether they're hateful. I mean, I don't know, if you feel the need to share, I won't stop you. I might delete it after reading, but I can't prevent that. So, yeah, so that's pretty much for the 3rd time now, my opinion on this topic. I keep thinking if there's more to add, because I'm trying to make it last longer, this episode, because it's a 10-minute episode is unheard of. So, yeah, but pretty much horrific. Yeah, we're not really safe up here either, up here in New Hampshire. It seems like, you try, I mean, I don't know, it's a mess. That's probably a bigger topic than I anticipated to talk about, because then you enter some different mindsets. I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to this somewhat different type of podcast. So, as always, you can find me on my main base, as I like to call it, Instagram, under Truth, God, and Justice Chick. I'm on Twitter, Truth Social, my website, www.truthgodandjusticechick.com. You can find me on Rumble now, which I'm a little new at. So as always, try to bring you the truth, true perspective. I don't hold back. I always give thanks to our Lord and Savior because He is the center of our life. Whether you realize that yet or not, sooner or later you will find yourself not trying to push anything on you. I'm just saying, sooner rather than later, or at some point in your life, you will have to pray for something. God forbid something horrible happens. There's just you're better off being welcoming with open arms than, anyway. And as always, trying to fight for some justice that is much needed these days. That seems to have been, can you say, MIA in a way. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see each other, or you will hear me and see me again next time for some more controversy. Signing off.